Every single day, you have a choice. You can keep doing the same things that hold you back, or you can take one step forward toward your goals. That step might feel small or even insignificant, but it matters more than you think. When you focus on making progress every day, you build a habit that grows into real success over time. This isn't about quick fixes or sudden changes. It's about steady effort and staying committed, even when it feels hard or slow. If you've ever felt stuck or unsure about how to reach your dreams, this message is for you. Watch closely, because understanding how to move forward every day could change everything. You'll learn how to use your time, energy, and focus in ways that actually lead to results. There is power in simple, consistent action, and this video will show you how to unlock it. Keep listening, and you'll discover practical steps to become stronger, more focused, and more motivated, so that every day brings you closer to the success you want. Let's get started. Number 1, every morning is a chance to do better. Every morning is a chance to do better. Every morning you wake up, you have a quiet moment to look at yourself and your life and make a simple, honest decision to do something better than yesterday. That decision doesn't have to be huge. It can be small and personal. Maybe it's choosing to take a few deep breaths before you jump into your day. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water instead of reaching for your phone. Maybe it's simply telling yourself that today you will put one small action toward the goals you care about. Every morning is your opportunity to reset, to take a fresh look at who you are becoming, and this is not something you need to wait for. Every morning is given to you like a blank sheet of paper. Every morning is an invitation to draw a clearer, better version of yourself. You do not need special circumstances. You do not need someone's permission. Every morning is your own, and every morning is a chance to do better. That's why the first few thoughts that run through your mind matter so much. That quiet time is where you decide who you will be that day. Are you going to move closer to the life you want, or will you stay where you are? Even if yesterday felt wasted or difficult, even if you slipped or failed, every morning is there for you. Every morning is like a gentle push saying you can try again. And this is real. This is practical. Every small thing you do matters because all those small things add up. Every morning is one more chance to make one more good choice, even if nobody notices, even if nobody claps, even if you do it just for yourself. Every morning is an opportunity to do better. Because every day you get up, you have the ability to grow, to change your habits, and to take one small step closer to success. You can decide that this morning is the one where you get up without hitting snooze, that this morning is the one where you write one idea in your notebook before you scroll your phone, that this morning is the one where you smile at yourself in the mirror and remember that you are not done yet, that your goals deserve some attention. Every morning is your chance to do that. And when you do these small things every day, they compound into real progress. The days turn into weeks, the weeks into months. And you look up one morning and you realize you're no longer the same person you were before. Every morning is part of that process. Every morning is one more brick you can lay down in the path you're walking. Every morning is a quiet, personal victory that no one can take from you. And the most important part is that you do not need to feel perfect to do this. Every morning is a chance to do better, not a demand to be perfect. Every morning allows you to pick yourself up if you feel low, to give yourself a little encouragement if you feel unsure. Every morning is there for you, even if nobody else is. Every morning is a steady, dependable gift that reminds you that there is still time to make progress. That's why you don't wait for a big event or a big moment to change your life. Every morning is that moment. Every morning holds the power to change the tone of your entire day. Every morning is a chance to do one more small thing that moves you toward the life you want. Every morning you can remind yourself that you matter. Your goals matter. Your effort matters. And the most beautiful part is that this doesn't have to feel overwhelming. Every morning is simply one new chance to do one thing better, one more decision, one more small step, one more choice to appreciate the fact that you're here and you have the power to do something with this new day. And if you keep this up day after day, morning after morning, you will feel your inner strength grow. You will feel your commitment grow. You will feel yourself becoming someone who doesn't wait for the perfect time, someone who knows that every morning is an opportunity to grow into who you truly want to be. And when you understand this, truly understand this, you will realize that success is not something far off in the distance. Success is what happens every morning that you do one small thing better. Success is built every morning that you make one quiet, deliberate choice to grow. Success is built every morning that you do something to honor your goals. And that is what will keep you going. Every morning is another reminder that you can. Every morning is a chance to do better. Every morning is proof that as long as you are alive and willing to take one more small step, you are moving closer to success. Every morning, every day, every chance. Number 2, small daily steps add up to real progress. Progress doesn't always come from big, dramatic changes. More often it comes from the small, consistent actions you take every day. These little steps might feel simple or even insignificant at the moment, but over time they build up to something powerful. The truth is, success is a result of what you do repeatedly, not once in a while. When you focus on these daily habits, you create a steady movement forward that becomes unstoppable. Many people want to see fast results. They want to change everything overnight and expect instant success. But life doesn't work that way. Real progress takes time, patience, and steady effort. If you try to rush, you risk burning out or giving up. Small steps keep you moving without overwhelming you. They let you build confidence and momentum gradually. Each day, when you do something, even a little bit, you are investing in your future. Sometimes it's easy to underestimate the power of small steps. You might think that one task won't make a difference, but the difference comes from the fact that you do it every day. It's not about what one step can do alone, but what thousands of those steps add up to over weeks, months, and years. This is how habits form, how skills improve, and how goals become reality. The small things you do consistently create a path that leads where you want to go. Think about your daily routine. Maybe you spend a few minutes reading something that improves your knowledge. Maybe you write down your priorities each morning. Maybe you practice a skill or make a phone call that moves your project forward. These actions may seem small, but each one strengthens your abilities and moves you ahead. You're creating a foundation that supports bigger achievements later on. The power of small daily steps is in their ability to make progress manageable. When your goals feel overwhelming, breaking them down into smaller parts gives you control. Instead of trying to do everything at once, you focus on what's possible today. You keep your energy from running out by pacing yourself. This approach keeps you motivated because you can see what you've accomplished regularly. That sense of achievement fuels your desire to continue. Another important aspect is consistency. Small steps matter only if you take them consistently. Skipping days or waiting for the perfect moment slows your progress. Every day counts. When you commit to daily effort, you build discipline. That discipline becomes a habit, and habits shape your life. You become someone who shows up and works toward their goals, no matter what. That's a quality that separates those who succeed from those who give up. Small steps also help you handle setbacks better. When you're focused on steady progress, a mistake or delay doesn't feel like failure. It's just one day in a longer process. You learn to keep going even if the results aren't immediate. This mindset protects you from discouragement. It reminds you that every effort adds up over time. Even when progress seems slow, you're still moving forward. One of the biggest benefits of daily small steps is the confidence it builds. Each time you complete a task or make progress, you prove to yourself that you're capable. That belief grows stronger with every success, no matter how small. Over time, your confidence gives you courage to tackle bigger challenges. It helps you trust your ability to reach your goals. It's also important to track your progress, even in small ways. Keeping a record of what you've done shows you how far you've come. This can be a journal, a checklist, or even simple notes. When you look back, you see the cumulative effect of your daily actions. That evidence can be inspiring. It shows that your effort is not wasted. It reminds you that progress is happening, even if you can't see it immediately. You don't have to do everything perfectly every day. The goal is to keep moving. Some days will be harder than others. You might do less or face obstacles. But as long as you keep taking small steps forward, you are winning. That's what matters. Small daily actions build resilience and persistence. They teach you that success is about endurance, not speed. When you begin to value small steps, you start to enjoy the process more. You find satisfaction in daily improvement. You stop waiting for the perfect moment or big break. Instead, you focus on what you can control right now. This mindset brings peace and reduces frustration. It keeps your motivation alive by showing you that progress is always possible. Success built on small daily steps is steady and lasting. It doesn't rely on luck or shortcuts. It comes from your willingness to put in the effort regularly. Every day, you have a chance to get closer to your dreams. Taking advantage of that chance, no matter how small, creates a powerful chain of progress. Keep moving forward with patience and focus, and you'll find that your hard work leads to real, meaningful results. Number 3, believe that you can grow every single day. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It's not something you stumble into. It's something you decide to pursue. It begins with a belief, an honest, personal belief that you can grow every single day. That belief becomes the foundation of everything else. Because if you don't believe growth is possible for you, you won't try. You won't show up. You'll stay in the same place, not because you can't move, but because you don't think you can. That belief is the start of all progress. Once you accept that growth is always within reach, your effort begins to make sense. You stop measuring yourself only by results, and you start paying attention to who you're becoming. You can grow in patience. You can grow in discipline. You can grow in focus, in character, in skill. None of these things are fixed. They respond to effort. They respond to consistency. But they only respond when you believe change is possible. When you believe that growth isn't just for someone else with better luck or better timing. It's for you. It's for anyone who chooses it. Once you understand that, you begin to see the value in showing up for your own development. Not someday, now. Not in theory, but in action. Every day gives you the chance to learn something that makes you sharper. Every day is a window to notice what needs to improve and do something about it. Even if the steps are small, even if they're not obvious to others, they matter. You might read a few pages and walk away with one idea that stays with you all week. You might try something new and fail, but you walk away with a lesson that helps you grow stronger the next time. You might pause before reacting and learn to respond instead. These are examples of growth that happen when you decide to pay attention and keep moving forward. But here's where people get it wrong. They wait until they feel like growing. They wait until everything's lined up. They want to grow, but only if it's easy or comfortable. Real growth doesn't work that way. Growth happens when you keep moving, even when it's uncomfortable. Even when you feel like nothing is working. Even when your energy is low or your confidence is shaky. Growth shows up when you take action anyway. You do what you can, with what you have, where you are. You believe in your ability to improve, not because it's guaranteed, but because it's earned. This belief isn't blind optimism. It's not about pretending everything is great. It's about trusting that change is possible, even if it's slow. It's about looking at yourself with honesty and still choosing to invest in who you can become. You believe you can grow because you've seen it in moments. You've had days where you handled something better than before. You've had times where you understood something that used to confuse you. Those are signs. Signs that you are not stuck. Signs that you are learning. Signs that you are becoming someone who's capable of more. And once you start to see growth as something you have control over, everything shifts. You start setting better goals. You stop chasing quick wins and begin investing in long-term habits. You start asking yourself better questions. What am I doing today that's helping me improve? What's holding me back that I need to face? What lesson am I avoiding that I need to confront? These are the kinds of questions that push you. These are the questions that help you grow beyond your comfort zone. When you believe in daily growth, you treat every day like an opportunity. Not just the good days, not just when you're motivated, but the regular days, the ordinary ones. You look at the challenges differently. You start to think, this is hard, but maybe I can handle it better this time. You look at your mistakes differently. You say, that wasn't my best, but I can use it to learn something. That belief turns setbacks into fuel. It turns pressure into purpose. Because when you believe growth is possible every day, you start looking for the lesson in everything. You don't need to compare yourself to others when you're focused on your own growth. You stop worrying about how far ahead someone else might be. Their timeline isn't yours. Your responsibility is to do your best today, to be better than you were last week, to keep showing up when it's easier to quit. That's how you grow. That's how you build a stronger version of yourself. One action at a time. One decision at a time. Sometimes the growth is visible. You learn a new skill. You finish a task. You cross off a goal. But other times it's invisible. You stay calm when you would have snapped. You keep going when you would have given up. You trust yourself when you used to doubt everything. Those are signs of real progress. The kind that doesn't always show up in numbers, but shows up in how you carry yourself, how you think, how you respond. You might not always feel your growth in the moment. It doesn't always feel rewarding right away. But that's why belief matters. Belief keeps you consistent before the reward shows up. Belief helps you keep going when the process feels slow. Belief keeps you grounded when everything around you feels uncertain. It gives you a reason to continue building, learning, and showing up. Because deep down, you know you're not finished. You know you've got more to offer, and you know it's up to you to bring that out. Step by step, day by day. Number 4, success isn't overnight. It's built one action at a time. People often want things to happen fast. They want the results without the process. They want the rewards without putting in the work consistently. But real success doesn't work that way. It doesn't arrive all at once. It's not a single moment or a dramatic event. It's built slowly and deliberately, one action at a time. One decision leads to the next. 1 hour of focused work turns into a foundation. One moment of self-discipline turns into a habit. It's not about how fast you go, it's about the direction you stay committed to. When you understand this, your attitude shifts. You stop expecting shortcuts. You stop looking for magic answers. You begin to see that every useful action matters. Every time you show up for yourself, you're building something stronger. You're not wasting time, you're investing it. Whether anyone sees it or not, the action counts. Whether it feels exciting or routine, it counts. That consistency over time creates real results. There's a lot of talk about passion and talent, but those aren't enough without daily effort. Passion fades when it's not supported by action. Talent is wasted when it's not developed. What separates those who succeed is their willingness to take steady action, especially when it's not easy or glamorous. Success comes to the ones who do the work, whether they feel like it or not. It comes to the people who understand that progress is earned, not given. Think of how many people set goals but never follow through. It's not because they don't want it, it's because they expect progress to be fast and obvious. When it isn't, they stop. They tell themselves it's not working. But the truth is, it was working. They just didn't give it enough time. Success takes time. And while you're waiting for the visible results, your job is to keep taking the next right step. To keep doing what needs to be done, even if no one's clapping. That's the test. That's what builds character. You don't need to see instant change to know you're moving in the right direction. If you're acting with intention, staying focused on what matters, you're building something valuable. Maybe not everyone sees it now, but the results will come. Every hour you dedicate, every task you complete, every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are building your success story. That story isn't written in a single chapter. It's written across days, weeks, months, and even years. This is why patience is so powerful. Not passive waiting, but patient effort. The kind of patience that says, I'm not giving up just because it's slow. The kind of patience that allows you to trust the process even when you're tired, even when you're uncertain. The kind of patience that comes from understanding how things grow gradually, not instantly. Success is no different. It unfolds. It's earned in the quiet moments when you choose to keep going. You won't always be motivated. You won't always feel like doing what needs to be done. But if you understand that each action moves you forward, you'll do it anyway. You'll take the step. You'll make the call. You'll stay committed. That's what separates the achievers from the wishers. The achievers take action. They don't rely on mood. They rely on discipline. They've decided that the life they want is worth the effort it takes to build. You'll hear people talk about overnight success, but what they don't show is the years of work that led up to it. What looks like a breakthrough was really the result of consistent effort behind the scenes, long before anyone noticed, long before there was any recognition. That's what matters. That's where your focus should be, not on who's ahead of you, not on who gets attention, but on what actions you are taking today to prepare yourself for where you want to go. Success isn't a straight path. You'll have days where you feel like nothing is working. You'll have moments where you question whether it's worth it. But if you've been taking action every day, you'll have something solid to stand on. You'll have built a foundation that doesn't shake every time things get difficult. That's the value of small actions. They build resilience. They build consistency. And consistency builds results. When you miss a day or fall short, you don't have to throw it all away. That's another reason daily action matters. It gives you more chances to reset. One mistake doesn't ruin the progress if you've built a pattern of effort. You can pick yourself up, look at what went wrong, and get back on track. The more actions you take, the more confident you become in your ability to handle the ups and downs. Every area of your life responds to this mindset. If you want to improve your health, it's not one intense workout that makes the difference. It's showing up again and again. If you want to grow in your career, it's not a single lucky moment. It's showing up prepared every day, learning, adjusting, improving. If you want stronger relationships, it's not grand gestures. It's consistent communication, respect, and time. All of it is built through steady, repeated effort. This approach doesn't promise ease, and progress leads to outcomes that last. Because when you earn your success one action at a time, you understand the value of what you've built. You're not afraid to maintain it. You don't lose it because it's become part of who you are. You've trained yourself to show up, to do the work, and to respect the process. That training is worth more than any shortcut because it prepares you to handle the success when it comes. Number 5, what you do today shapes your tomorrow. Every choice you make today influences the direction your life takes next. Every task you complete, every moment you invest in improvement, every hour you use wisely builds the ground you'll walk on tomorrow. People often look ahead and wonder how to create a better future, but they forget that the future is only shaped through what they decide to do right now. You cannot control everything that comes your way, but you can control how you spend your time today, and that decision makes all the difference. What you choose to ignore today will not disappear. It will wait. It will grow. It will become something harder to deal with later. On the other hand, what you face today, what you fix, what you learn, what you begin, will grow into something solid that supports you. Most people don't lack dreams. They lack the daily actions to support those dreams. If you want a better tomorrow, you must start acting like it today. Not talking about it, not hoping, doing, acting with intention, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Today is your training ground. Today is where your habits take shape. If you practice avoiding responsibility today, it becomes your standard. If you decide to speak with honesty today, that builds your character. If you manage your time well, you start to experience the power of structure. The results don't always show up right away, but they always arrive. Not through luck, but through repeated effort. The more serious you are about using your time well today, the more freedom and options you'll earn in the days ahead. Look at the things that matter to you: your health, your skills, your finances, your relationships. Every one of those is directly impacted by what you choose to do today. One meal doesn't make you healthy, but eating with intention today starts a pattern. Reading one chapter doesn't make you an expert, but learning today builds your mind. Reaching out to someone today might not fix everything, but it begins a new path toward better communication. Everything improves with daily attention, and everything falls apart without it. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need more time. You don't need better conditions. You need to start where you are. You need to work with what you've got. The biggest shift happens when you stop delaying and start engaging. It's easy to say you'll start next week or next month. It's easy to wait for the motivation to kick in. But today is already here. Today is not waiting for you. It's moving whether you use it or not. If you keep waiting, you'll keep waking up in the same place. But if you use today well, tomorrow will start to look different. People often don't realize how powerful their ordinary choices are. Skipping practice today because it feels small might seem harmless, but it teaches you to walk away when something matters. Complaining instead of creating keeps you trapped in cycles of blame. But the moment you start taking ownership of how you spend today, everything changes. You become someone who influences their own future instead of reacting to it. You begin to lead your life instead of following it wherever it drifts. What you do today writes your story, one paragraph at a time. You either write something that moves you forward or something that keeps you still. Your actions tell you more about your direction than your intentions ever will. No one can do it for you. No one can make you care. That has to come from you. And it comes when you realize how much power you already have to create change, not by rewriting the past, but by choosing better in the present. Your mind remembers your choices. Each decision sends a signal about what matters to you. When you stay focused on something meaningful, you're training your mind to value purpose over distraction. When you avoid the easy path, you're reminding yourself that discipline is worth it. When you spend time working towards something that feels just out of reach, you're giving yourself proof that you're not stuck. All of that builds belief. But belief doesn't show up first. Action does. Belief follows action. Confidence follows consistency. And success follows both. What you practice today becomes automatic later. If you show up today, tomorrow you'll be stronger. If you keep your word today, tomorrow your self-respect grows. If you challenge yourself today, tomorrow you'll face obstacles with more confidence. Nothing valuable appears without effort. Nothing lasting comes from shortcuts. That's why it's so important to treat today as your opportunity, not your excuse. When you use your time to do the right things, even in small ways, you begin to feel in control. You're no longer a victim of circumstances. You become someone who shapes their day on purpose. That mindset changes how you wake up in the morning and how you wind down at night. Because instead of feeling like time slipped through your fingers, you know you invested it wisely. You did something that pushed you, that strengthened you, that reminded you of what you're capable of. That's how tomorrow becomes something worth looking forward to. Not because it's easier, but because you're better prepared. Because you've been working, because you've been growing, because you've been paying attention. And that all starts with one decision: how you choose to use the day in front of you, the day you're in right now, the hours that haven't passed yet. What you do with them is up to you. Every hour matters. Every moment is a chance to create something better than what came before. What you do today is not just about now, it's about what happens next. Number 6, stay focused, even when the road feels long. There are times in life when you start to wonder if the effort is worth it. You've been working, showing up, pushing through the discomfort, and yet it still feels like you're far from where you want to be. That's when doubt creeps in. That's when distractions become more tempting than progress. That's when your mind starts asking, why keep going? This is the moment most people let go. Not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they lose focus when the results don't show up quickly. But if you're willing to hold on, if you can stay focused even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere, you separate yourself from the crowd. Success isn't just about working hard. It's about keeping your attention on the things that matter, especially when it's not exciting, especially when it's repetitive, especially when it feels like you're walking a long road with no finish line in sight. The truth is, the more worthwhile your goal, the longer it may take. And the longer it takes, the more mental strength you need to stay committed. Not just physically, but mentally. Staying focused when the road is long means learning to ignore what doesn't serve your mission. It means understanding that every step you take counts, even when it doesn't look like progress from the outside. Focus isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and consistent. It's not something people will always notice or praise. It's not glamorous. It's often unseen. It happens in private moments, when you decide to keep your priorities straight. It shows up when you say no to distractions, even though no one would blame you if you gave in. It shows up when you push through tiredness because you told yourself you would finish what you started. That kind of focus builds strength. That kind of focus builds a version of yourself that won't break under pressure when the road feels long. It's easy to become restless. You start thinking about all the things you could be doing instead. You start comparing your progress to someone else who seems to be further ahead. But the truth is, you don't know how long their road was. You don't know what they had to walk through, and their path doesn't change yours. Your responsibility is to keep going on your own track, no matter how long it feels. What you do now matters more than what someone else appears to be doing. Every distraction, every doubt, every unnecessary detour pulls you away from what you're building. Focus keeps you aligned. It reminds you that the hard days are part of the journey. They're not signs that you're failing, they're signs that you're growing. When the road is long, your patience is tested, your belief is tested, your routine is tested, and how you respond in those moments defines whether you'll reach the outcome or quit halfway. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about coming back to what matters, refocusing again and again as many times as needed. You might lose your rhythm now and then. You might feel off track. That's human. But don't let those moments become permanent. Get back to your work. Get back to your priorities. Get back to the path that leads where you truly want to go. The longer the road, the more important it becomes to keep your eyes on where you're headed. You don't need to feel motivated all the time to stay focused. Focus is built on commitment, not emotions. Emotions change. Commitment is a decision. And when you make the decision to stay locked in, no matter how long the process takes, you start to build momentum. You stop questioning your pace and start trusting your direction. That's when your effort starts to multiply. That's when your identity shifts from someone who tries to someone who follows through. A long road teaches you how to manage your time. It teaches you how to protect your energy. It teaches you how to stop chasing what's urgent and start doing what's important. The longer it takes, the more you learn what really matters. You learn to let go of distractions that once stole your time. You learn to stop explaining yourself to people who don't understand your vision. You learn that progress is a quiet process that requires attention and patience, not noise and validation. You're not behind. You're just in the part of the road where most people stop. That's what makes this part so powerful. This is where you grow while others give up. This is where you stay grounded while others drift. This is where you make the choice to keep showing up with discipline, even when the spark has faded. Every day you stay focused, you're building something that lasts. You're creating habits, mindset, and confidence that will stay with you long after the results show up. Focus is not something you have. It's something you maintain. It takes practice. It takes awareness. It takes the ability to keep asking, is what I'm doing right now bringing me closer to my goal? That question keeps you centered. That question helps you course correct when you get off track. That question helps you stay aware of how you're using your time, your energy, and your attention. You don't need to rush. You just need to stay with it. The road might be long, but the time will pass either way. What you choose to do with that time is what creates the life you want. Don't let impatience steal your progress. Don't let distractions rewrite your priorities. Don't let fear or frustration make your decisions for you. Stay focused, even when it's slow, even when it's repetitive, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Because underneath the surface, something is changing. You're becoming more disciplined, more resilient, more capable. And that is what prepares you for everything you've been working toward. Number 7, push yourself past yesterday's version of you. The only person you need to compete with is the one you were yesterday. That version of you knew less. That version of you made decisions based on what they understood at the time. But you are not stuck in that place. You are not limited to yesterday's energy, thinking, or standards. You have a chance today to rise above that point, to show yourself that you've grown, even in small, specific ways. Pushing yourself past who you were yesterday doesn't require perfection. It just requires progress. A little more discipline, a little more patience, a little more courage than you had the day before. Most people live on repeat. They wake up and act out the same routines, make the same excuses, and settle for the same outcomes. They don't stop to ask whether today could be lived better. They don't pause to examine whether their mindset is helping them move forward or keeping them in place. The difference between staying stuck and rising forward is the decision to measure yourself against yourself, not in a way that creates pressure, but in a way that reminds you that improvement is your responsibility. When you aim to beat your own standard each day, you start to develop control over your life. You no longer react to situations the same way. You stop waiting for the world to get easier, and instead focus on getting stronger. Maybe yesterday you skipped a workout. Today you move your body, even if it's for 10 minutes. Maybe yesterday you snapped at someone in frustration. Today you take a moment to respond calmly. These are not small things. These are the signs that you are not letting yourself stay stuck in a past version of you. And it's not about pretending yesterday didn't happen. It's about learning from it, taking what didn't go well and using it as fuel. You start saying, that's not how I want to handle things anymore. I can do better. You begin to use the past as a teacher, not a trap. And every time you make a better choice, every time you respond with a bit more maturity, every time you show up with more focus, you prove to yourself that growth is happening even if it's not visible yet. No one else needs to see this for it to matter. This is about your own personal standard, the one you raise each day, little by little, the one that keeps you moving even when no one is cheering you on. You don't need applause to level up. You just need awareness and honesty. You need to ask yourself, where did I fall short yesterday, and what can I do differently today? That question alone is a sign of growth, because the version of you that doesn't care doesn't ask it. The version of you that's ready to rise always does. This isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about expecting more from yourself, not out of guilt, but out of self-respect. You don't want to waste your time repeating days that could have been better. You don't want to keep living beneath your potential just because it's familiar. That's the trap. The belief that change is hard, so why bother? But once you start pushing past yesterday, that belief begins to lose power. You start to prove it wrong. You'll notice this shift when your actions change without needing to force them. When you reach for the book instead of the remote. When you prepare your plan instead of guessing your way through the day. When you speak with more clarity because you've spent time thinking before reacting. These are changes that come from the inside. They don't require big speeches, they require intention. And once you get a taste of that growth, it's hard to go back. Once you experience what it feels like to improve even slightly, you'll want more of it. Not because someone told you to want it, but because you've seen what you're capable of. The most powerful motivation is knowing that you're not the same as you were before, that the person you're becoming is being shaped by consistent effort. Your past doesn't define you, but it can inform you. You get to look at what didn't work and make a new decision. You get to replace habits that don't help you with ones that do. You get to take ownership of your own development instead of waiting for someone to push you. That's what it means to live with purpose, to wake up and decide that you won't live a copy of yesterday. And some days it's harder than others. There are moments when the pull to take the easy route feels strong, when old patterns call your name. But that's exactly when it matters most. That's when the choice to improve becomes meaningful, when it's difficult, when it's uncomfortable. That's the test. That's when growth happens. Not when it's easy, but when you push anyway. The goal is to live with the kind of mindset that says, I can do a little better today. I can give a bit more. I can bring more focus, more effort, more integrity. That kind of thinking doesn't come from pressure. It comes from possibility, from knowing that every step forward, even a small one, creates separation from who you used to be. And the longer you keep that up, the bigger that gap becomes. Eventually, the person you used to be feels like a different lifetime. Not because you suddenly changed overnight, but because you made a daily decision to improve. You took responsibility for who you were becoming. You stopped making excuses. You stopped living on autopilot. You started showing up with intention. That's how the transformation happens. Quietly, steadily, deliberately. You don't need to overhaul your life in one move. You just need to get honest about what needs to change and start with that. One change, one choice, one act of effort that pushes you slightly further than yesterday. That's how you build momentum. That's how you keep rising. You don't compete with the world. You compete with who you were last night, and you win by waking up and choosing to be better. Number 8, find joy in every small win you achieve. Progress doesn't always arrive in big, noticeable moments. Most of the time, it shows up in small victories that are easy to overlook if you're not paying attention. But if you want to stay motivated, if you want to keep going when things feel slow, you need to learn how to find joy in those smaller wins. That's where the real fuel comes from. The ability to recognize what went right today, even if it wasn't dramatic. Maybe you followed through on a commitment. Maybe you woke up on time after struggling for days. Maybe you focused a little longer or made a decision faster than you would have before. Those wins count. It's easy to chase only the big outcomes, the big breakthrough, the moment that changes everything. But if you're only chasing what's huge, you'll miss all the progress that's happening quietly along the way. Big change is built on hundreds of small, consistent actions, and each one of those actions deserves your attention. Because when you start seeing your effort as valuable, you start treating the process with respect. You stop saying, "That wasn't enough," and you start saying, "That moved me forward." That's a shift in how you view yourself. That's how you build self-respect. Celebrating the small wins is not about lowering your standards. It's about recognizing that every bit of progress is evidence that you're still in the game, that you're still showing up, that you haven't given up. When you ignore those little achievements, you tell yourself the only thing worth noticing is perfection. But perfection isn't real. What's real is momentum. What's real is doing something today that you couldn't manage last week. That's what moves you forward. That's what deserves attention. Joy comes from knowing that what you're doing matters, even if no one else sees it. You might not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be. That's worth something. When you finish a task you've been avoiding, when you stay disciplined in a moment of temptation, when you learn something that helps you think more clearly, these are signs of growth, and growth deserves recognition. Most people wait to feel proud of themselves until they've reached some massive goal, but that mindset robs them of the motivation they need along the way. If you only allow yourself to feel good when everything is perfect, you'll live frustrated, because perfection is rare. But improvement, that's everywhere. If you look for it, you'll find it in your routine, in your decisions, in the way you respond differently to pressure. Every small win is a reminder that effort works. When you remind yourself of that daily, you start to enjoy the journey more. It's not just about the destination. It's about seeing the impact of your choices. It's about acknowledging the little shifts in your attitude, your habits, and your mindset. Those small shifts add up to major breakthroughs, but only if you stay consistent. And it's easier to stay consistent when you feel like the effort is worth it. That feeling comes when you stop ignoring your progress. This doesn't mean you celebrate every moment with noise and fanfare. Sometimes it's just a quiet, internal recognition. I did that. I handled that well. I stayed focused when I didn't feel like it. That acknowledgement becomes personal motivation. It becomes proof that you're capable. And when doubt shows up, and it will, you'll have something to remind yourself of. You'll be able to say, "I've done hard things before. I've made progress. I can keep going." Finding joy in your small wins keeps your energy up. It protects you from burnout. It helps you stay emotionally connected to what you're building. And it trains your brain to focus on what's working, not just what's missing. That's a valuable skill in a world that constantly tells you to want more, to move faster, to never be satisfied. Being able to pause and say, "That mattered," keeps you grounded. There will be days when the big goals feel far away. That's normal. You can't always measure your success in huge leaps. But if you can say, "I stuck to my plan today," that's something. If you can say, "I didn't quit when I felt like it," that's progress. If you can look at your effort and know it was real, you're on track. That daily acknowledgement builds confidence. Not fake confidence, earned confidence. The kind that comes from seeing your own growth and honoring it. You don't need permission to celebrate your small wins. You don't need anyone to validate them. This is about how you treat yourself. This is about whether or not you see the value in your work. And the truth is, if you want lasting motivation, you need to learn how to cheer for yourself. You need to learn how to be your own source of encouragement, especially when you're building something that takes time. Even the most successful people didn't build their lives on massive moments alone. They built them by stacking small wins on top of each other. One good decision, one focused hour, one honest conversation, one completed task, over and over. The people who succeed long-term are the ones who learn to appreciate that process. They don't rush past it. They stay present. They understand that every small win is not just something to enjoy, it's something that builds who they are. When you value your small wins, you start to train your mind to expect progress. You stop seeing effort as a chore and start seeing it as a chance. That shift keeps you coming back every day. And that daily effort becomes a powerful force. It makes you reliable. It makes you steady. It makes you someone who doesn't just hope for success, you build it. One choice, one step, one win at a time. Number 9, commit to your goals without looking back. When you set a goal, it's easy to get distracted by doubt or second guessing. You start wondering if it's the right path or if there's an easier way. That hesitation can slow you down or stop you completely. But real progress happens when you commit fully and move forward without looking back. Commitment means giving yourself permission to focus entirely on what matters. It means trusting your decision even when uncertainty creeps in. You don't keep one eye on the goal and one eye on what might go wrong. You fix your eyes firmly on the prize and keep stepping forward. Looking back often creates confusion. It brings up regrets, mistakes, or moments when things didn't go as planned. While reflecting can be helpful sometimes, it becomes dangerous when it causes you to hesitate or lose confidence. Commitment requires you to accept your past without letting it control your present. The more you dwell on what you could have done differently, the less energy you have to act now. The more you glance behind, the more likely you are to trip over doubts instead of walking steadily toward your goals. There's power in a decision that's made without hesitation. When you commit to your goal, you send a message to yourself that this is non-negotiable. It becomes a priority in your life. You don't let excuses, distractions, or setbacks pull you off course. The path won't be perfect, but your commitment keeps you anchored. It gives you the strength to face challenges because you've decided that turning back is not an option. Commitment builds resilience. It turns fear into focus. People sometimes believe commitment means never making mistakes or never adjusting their plan. That's not true. Commitment means staying true to the destination, even if the route changes. You might need to learn new skills or try different strategies, but you don't abandon the goal. You keep adapting while holding on to what you want to achieve. This mindset turns obstacles into lessons instead of reasons to quit. When you're fully committed, setbacks are just temporary roadblocks, not reasons to give up. Committing without looking back also means not wasting energy on what others think. There will always be opinions, doubts, or negative voices around you. If you allow those voices to make you question your choice, you lose momentum. Commitment gives you the courage to trust your own judgment and keep moving forward. You don't need approval or validation to pursue what's important to you. Your dedication is enough. The louder your commitment, the less impact outside noise has. Sometimes the hardest part is starting, but the hardest part can also be continuing. Many give up because they don't see immediate results. They start doubting the goal and wonder if it's time to quit. Commitment keeps you going in those moments. It reminds you that success is a process, not a quick fix. It encourages you to show up day after day, doing what's necessary, even when the outcome isn't clear yet. Commitment turns consistent effort into progress. When you commit fully, you begin to organize your life around your goal. Your priorities shift naturally. You start saying no to distractions and yes to what serves your vision. You manage your time differently. You surround yourself with people who support your purpose. You build habits that reinforce your commitment. This level of focus doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. Commitment is that choice made over and over again. Your mindset changes when you make a full commitment. Instead of wondering, what if I fail? You ask, how will I learn? Instead of fearing challenges, you prepare for them. Instead of reacting to difficulties with frustration, you respond with persistence. Commitment rewires your thinking. It builds confidence not because everything is easy, but because you know you won't quit when it gets tough. There's no reward for hesitation. No progress comes from standing still. But when you commit without looking back, you put yourself in motion. You become someone who takes responsibility for their future. You show up even when motivation fades. You take action even when fear whispers doubts. That kind of commitment is what creates breakthroughs. It's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Your goal deserves your full attention. It deserves your energy, your focus, and your time without reservation. When you stop looking back, you stop dragging old doubts and fears along the journey. You free yourself to move with confidence and purpose. You create a powerful momentum that carries you forward even when the road gets difficult. Each step you take forward becomes easier to take. Because commitment builds strength. It builds trust in yourself. It builds a foundation that can't be shaken by temporary setbacks or distractions. When you fully commit, you protect your dreams from becoming just wishes. You give yourself the best chance to succeed by refusing to let fear or uncertainty slow you down. Commitment isn't about being rigid or stubborn. It's about being determined. It's about holding your vision clearly and not letting anything pull you off track. It's about being ready to put in the work needed to reach what you want. When you adopt that mindset, you become unstoppable. Your focus sharpens. Your actions become purposeful. Your progress becomes inevitable. The choice to commit without looking back is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It means deciding that your goals matter more than your doubts. It means believing that the effort you put in today will create the future you desire. It means stepping forward with courage and refusing to turn around. That's the mindset that builds success. That's the mindset that changes lives. Number 10. Every day is your opportunity to move closer. Every new day offers a fresh chance to make progress. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday or the day before. Today is a clean slate, a moment that hasn't been spent yet. How you use that time is completely up to you. This is where your power lies. You may not control every circumstance, but you control how you respond. When you view each day as an opportunity, your mindset shifts from waiting for the right moment to creating your right moment. That's what makes the difference between those who drift through life and those who live intentionally. You have to understand that opportunity is not always obvious. It doesn't always come wrapped in excitement or clear signs. Sometimes, opportunity comes disguised as routine work, discipline, or the grind that feels boring. But that's exactly where progress happens. It's in those daily actions that you are moving closer to your goal. It's in the small choices you make over and over that build momentum. The key is showing up and using every day to its fullest, not wishing for something spectacular. When you realize that every day counts, you stop postponing action. You stop thinking you need to wait for motivation or perfect conditions. Motivation is unreliable and often fades. Conditions are rarely perfect, but the day is always here. The clock is always ticking. You can't rewind time or skip ahead. All you get is this moment, right now. Using it well isn't about working harder every single minute. It's about working smarter. It's about deciding what matters most and focusing your time and energy there. Sometimes the weight of a big goal can feel overwhelming. You look at how far you have to go and wonder if you'll ever get there. But when you break it down, you see that every day gives you an opportunity to close that gap, even if just a little. You may not climb the whole mountain in one day, but each day you take a step forward. You're higher than you were before. The distance between you and your goal shrinks. That's why it's important to recognize that progress isn't only measured in huge leaps, it's built in steady daily movement. The difference between those who reach their goals and those who don't often lies in how they use their days. Some people treat the day as a gift and invest in their dreams. Others treat it as a problem or a burden. Your mindset about the day influences what you accomplish. When you treat each day as an opportunity, you become more proactive. You start to ask yourself, what can I do today that brings me closer? That question keeps you focused and intentional. Using every day as an opportunity requires discipline. It means being willing to do what's necessary, even when you don't feel like it. There will be distractions, temptations, and excuses. But if you let those win, the days will slip through your fingers. You won't reach your goal by waiting for motivation or luck. You'll reach it by deciding each day to take meaningful action. That decision may be as simple as planning your tasks, making one phone call, learning something new, or working a little longer. Whatever it is, it matters because you're moving forward. When you approach your day this way, your relationship with time changes. You stop wasting it on things that don't align with your vision. You start prioritizing what supports your growth. You become protective of your hours. You learn to say no to distractions and yes to progress. That kind of focus creates a powerful routine that moves you closer consistently. And consistency is the foundation for any achievement. Each day's opportunity is also a chance to learn. Sometimes you won't get it right. Sometimes you'll face setbacks or unexpected challenges. But every day you stay engaged. You gain experience. You learn what works and what doesn't. You adjust your approach. You grow stronger. That learning is part of the progress. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be willing to keep moving. There's a powerful feeling that comes from knowing you've made the most of your day. It's a sense of accomplishment that fuels the next day's effort. When you use your day intentionally, you feel more in control of your future. You reduce regret because you're not sitting back wishing you'd done more. You're actively shaping what's next. That feeling of control is motivating and empowering. If you want to reach your goals, stop waiting for the right day. Stop thinking you need a special moment or sudden inspiration. The opportunity is here. Every day, what you do with it is what counts. Every choice, every action, every moment of focus adds up. Over time, those daily opportunities create the life you want. They turn dreams into reality. When you think about the days ahead, think about them as chances. Chances to improve, chances to grow, chances to get better. Don't let the weight of the future paralyze you. Instead, break it into today's tasks. Ask yourself what you can do now, because what you do today is your stepping stone for tomorrow. And every step, no matter how small, takes you closer. The power is in your hands. You get to decide how you spend your day. You get to decide if you let distractions win or if you protect your time. You get to decide if you use today as an opportunity or let it pass without meaning. That decision is yours. Use it wisely.